Let me ask you this. School choice. Education is key. Education has been key throughout your life. You're a highly educated woman. In our inner cities, the kind of choice that we have in the rest of the country does not exist. We have an all-powerful labor union, a public sector union called the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers. They are tied at the hip with the Democrat Party. They are huge donors to the Democrat Party, nearly exclusively, and they work hand in glove. Barack Obama was one of the most outspoken and ardent opponents of school choice, which would allow for America, the parents of poor kids, especially in violent communities or in communities with bad schools and minority communities, to choose working quality schools to send their kids rather than the school down the street if it's not functioning properly, and allows competition, parochial schools, private schools, charter schools, and so forth, where the money follows the student, just as the money follows the student in college. This, to me, is a huge human and civil rights issue, basic education. The NBA is not behind it. The NFL is not behind it. The media are not behind it. Hollywood's not behind it. The Democrat Party, like so often in our history, is obstructing it. And they talk about the cops' unions. What about the teachers' unions? What's your take on this?
Well, I can tell you that the public opinion polls that I've seen, majorities of blacks and Hispanics want school choice. And it makes a lot of sense because the people who are making decisions for them, they have school choice. And in those inner city schools, they're crime-ridden. Students are afraid to go to school because of the, quote, restorative justice rooted in Marxism, and it is making it almost impossible for students to be suspended. And in cities that are run by Democrats, they have not gotten rid of that. And so there's lawlessness within the schoolhouse. The teachers are afraid to teach. There's chaos in school, just like it is on the streets. And I think that that's very problematic, and we need school choice. And we need to hold public schools accountable. And whenever Democratic cities want money, they say we have to pay our teachers more. They use the teachers, but a lot of that money never reaches the teachers. It's used for administrative purposes.
This is a community that African-American males just don't do well in. Drug dealers and violence just follows them around. I believe that being able to choose a school that was safe and a better environment for William saved his life.
Both William and Mercedes were given a chance to attend private schools through scholarships. And Mercedes is just one of the thousands of kids who have benefited from the DC voucher program.
But working with congressional Democrats, the Obama administration has effectively killed the program despite this pledge.
Secretary Duncan will use only one test when deciding what ideas to support with your precious tax dollars. It's not whether an idea is liberal or conservative, but whether it works.
The last two evaluations, last June and the one that most recently came out, indicated that the children are making significant gains.
Indeed, a recent Department of Education study found that after 3 years in private schools, students who came into the DC voucher program when it first started had a 19-month advantage in reading over their public school peers. Not only that, but parents love the program, so much so that there are 4 applicants for every available slot. Overall, the DC voucher program costs about $18 million a year. That's a good chunk of change, but it's nothing compared to the $67 billion the Fed spent on education last year. And of course, that's all in addition to the trillions of dollars the government has doled out to prop up failing banks and auto companies.
A deeper look now into one of President-elect Trump's key cabinet picks today, and again to John Yang.
One of those choices that immediately drew a lot of attention was his pick for Education Secretary, Betsy DeVos. It sends a number of signals about what Mr. Trump intends to do with his education policy, but it also raises some questions. Allison Klein of Education Week joins me now to talk about this. Allison, thanks for coming. Betsy DeVos, not necessarily well-known nationwide. Who is she, and what does she say, or what does the pick say about the Trump administration on education?
So on the campaign trail, Trump didn't talk much about K-12 policy, but when he did, he talked about school choice. And Betsy DeVos is a longtime school choice advocate. So we can expect that this administration is going to make good on its promise to make school choice a huge priority.
What can the federal government do on school choice?
So that's a great question. On the campaign trail, Donald Trump proposed taking $20 billion in federal funding, which is almost a third of the U.S. Department of Education's budget, and using that for a school choice program. It's unclear if a proposal like that could actually pass Congress. Senator Lamar Alexander, who will actually preside over Betsy DeVos's confirmation hearing, put forth a similar proposal last year, and it just didn't get the votes to clear procedural hurdles. So it's unclear if they'll be able to do their grand vision on school choice, but certainly having somebody like Betsy DeVos talking about school choice from the bully pulpit of the Department of Education could really give some lift to the issue in states and districts.
The argument for school choice is pretty basic. Everybody benefits when they have more options, whether we're talking about cars, coffee drinks, or schools. That the voucher program spends half as much per student than the conventional D.C. public school is icing on the cake. What's even more puzzling about Obama's actions is that he was a scholarship recipient himself as a youth, and he's a parent who has chosen an elite private school for his own daughters. So he knows better than most the value of school choice.
We fought for you to the end. We
We
screamed
did.
out the
We
window,
voted.
Obama.
We voted, we walked, we went to the parade, we stood freezing. Why? Once again, goes to Obama. Can I send him that? Can you get this tape over to Obama and have him answer our questions? Why, sir? Why?
A young lady by the name of Kelly Burnett back up in New York in our Learning Plaza. She's from Nassau County, Florida, and I believe she has a question for you. Kelly, good morning. What's your question for President Obama?
Good morning. Thank you for taking my question, President Obama. As a father of two very delightful and seemingly very bright daughters, I wanted to know whether or not you think that Malia and Sasha would get the same high-quality, rigorous education in a D.C. public school as compared to their very elite private academy that they're attending now.
Well, thanks for the question, Kelly, and I'll be blunt with you. The answer is no right now.
This is very exciting. So yesterday I said that our spending bill was a win for the American people, which is exactly what it was, an amazing day. And this is what winning for young children and kids from all over the country looks like. The Opportunity Scholarship Program that we're funding allows families in the inner city of our nation's capital to leave failing public schools and attend a private school, making an extraordinary difference in these incredible young lives. You're so lucky. Huh? Great. You happy about it? Huh? So great. That's great. And today I'm calling on all lawmakers to work with us to help extend school choice to millions more children all across the United States of America, including millions of low-income Hispanic and African-American children who deserve the same chance as every other child in America to live out their dreams and fill up their hearts and be educated at the top level. Good.